for a second. All right. Hey, everybody. I hope everyone's having a great Trans Pride VR. We are part of the Trust and Safety team, just two of the many members who are here. And we're going to be here to discuss just the foundations of keeping yourself safe online in VR chat, Discord, as well as just general online safety best practices.
All right. Hello. Cool. Great. So for today's presentation, we're just going to go over a couple of topics. Obviously, we're first going to cover who we are, like why the heck are we up here talking about this? We're then going to give you sort of a rundown of why this is an important topic for the event, which should be a little bit obvious because everybody wants to make sure that they're staying safe. We are going to talk about best practices when it comes to VR chat. So this is a lot of things that you probably already know, and then a couple of new details that have been iterated on, have been changed. We're also going to tell you how to go about reporting issues that you experience if you have a problem in one of our worlds, if you have a problem in our Discord server. And a lot of this is applicable to other places as well, because the moderation system that exists through VR chat groups is just part of VR chat. So it works in a lot of other places similarly as well. And the Discord reporting mechanisms, some of those are also applicable as well to other places. And once you know some of the like why to report, how to report, you'll also find that you can apply those to other platforms. The next probably more important thing we'll go over, and some information that maybe not everybody is up to speed on as much, is just maintaining privacy and security. So we're going to talk about that in a really, really basic context. So this is not going to be like talking about how to secure like your office or your whatever. This is really specifically maintaining online privacy when it comes to like narrowly the information that you have within VR chat, what you have within Discord, and what you have within most online account systems. The means and methods will be kind of similar. We do want to point out this is all like foundational. So if you think that a lot of this is really obvious, great. That means that you actually keep up on this stuff. But if you have your friend next to you saying, wow, I didn't know about that thing, have a conversation. Part of the way that you can help try to keep each other safe is actually by sharing this information with each other. And so if you have really good security practices, try to pass those on and try to educate everybody else as well. And then we'll finish by kind of recapping it and then closing it out. So first, we're going to start out with who we are.
Yep. So I'm Aether Song. I go by she, they. Been with Trans Academy Trust and Safety for around 2 years now. I was also moderating last year's Trans Pride VR as well. I'm also part of the media team. If you've checked out any of our advertisements or shorts or commercials through Trans Academy, I'm the one who wrote it. That's basically been my job. I'm the screenwriter of those pieces of media for mostly all of them, while everyone else does their own part as well and does a fantastic job with those.
And I am Shah, or Shawarmachine if you want to pronounce my entire name. I've also been with TNS for, I feel like 2-ish years. We were also working last year as well. I'm also on the inclusion team, so I help with some things related to that other team as well. And I have a background that kind of goes into a lot of this this information as well. But yeah, we're both sort of well-seasoned experts at this in the context in which we're going to be giving you the advice. Yeah, so that's who we are.
Also, if it wasn't clear, because it's intentionally a little subtle, we're both gender fluid, so we decided our introductory panel is gender fluid flag. So, rep.
Mm-hmm.
Me? Is that you? I can
this
do
is
it.
you.
Okay.
This is all
then
you.
It's me. All right. So to start out, gender identity has been in the spotlight. Overall, that is a good thing. It means that we are getting notarized. We are getting the recognition that we deserve. but also it has made us, unfortunately, targets by individuals who are out to do harm against us in both small and large scale. Uh, some some bad actors stir reactions or farm content. Some do it out of malicious hate. Regardless, the reason for the intent is to harm. So we're here to help you and inform you on the nature of online threats, how to spot them, and what you can do to help yourself.
All right, so we're going to start out with the basic foundational stuff that you probably already saw when you loaded into this world, or you saw it at some point, and maybe you had ignored it 10,000 times, but these are constantly shown in front of your face for a very good reason, because they will be the primary things that you're going to use to help keep yourself safe. And they are also kind of the bedrock of how you get other people involved to increase that safety or try to remove a bad actor from the space, let's say. So just starting out with the description that VR chat gives you, more or less, we kind of rewrote it a little bit, but unwanted negative behaviors. This is what you're supposed to react to, and instead of reacting in the sense that somebody wants to be mean and you want to be a meanie head back, no, don't do that. So if somebody is annoying you, yelling at you, interrupting you, playing loud noises, doing something that you really dislike, you can adjust their volume. You can flat out mute them. Also, now a more modern thing is also their chat box. If they have one of those chat boxes that's constantly telling you how hot their CPU, their third GPU, and their radio off in a corner is, and playing some video on the text box, and it's getting in your way, you can block that. You can mute that individually. So yeah, just mute people that you don't want to hear or adjust their volume accordingly. If somebody continues to annoy you, so you really have somebody who's not just doing it unintentionally, but really just doing it to be a jerk, you can block them. You can just block people. You don't have to see people who are going to ruin your day. And that's there for a reason. If somebody's being a jerk, you don't have to keep on watching them and go, ooh, I'm angry. Oh, I'm going to wait. No. Just block them. Be done with it. Have a good interaction with the other people that you're interacting with. And then you can also report bad actions. So if something is especially aggressive, especially unpleasant, or you feel is otherwise in need of a larger remedy, you can report it. And that can be an avatar, a sticker, a whatever. You can go to the button that's got the little chat box and the little exclamation point, poke it, and it will give you a whole bunch of options on what exactly you can report. So if you have those issues, use those tools.
And then the other thing that's a extremely robust tool, especially because they've revamped it within the last 3 to 6 months, is the shield level system. Shield levels allow baseline control of what content you've experienced based on the trust rank of each person in the instance. Not only the trust rank, but also what kind of robust or what kind of thing is on their avatar, how complex it is, what kind of things they're using. This can be absolutely helpful for people that are using specific tools to try to crash you with heavy particles, annoying sounds, complex materials. And you can adjust all of these based on how much is shown, based on their rank, based on how far it bypasses any certain settings, anything like that. And then you can go into the minutia as well on individual avatars, on what you see and what's called, based going into specifically avatars and avatar calling. That one's also just helpful to keep lag at a minimum. I'm on stage right now talking to probably what is 100 people right now, and I want to be at a very pleasant stable frame rate so that I can keep talking to you all. So I have it set to a very safe cone around me, and that's helpful. Not so much in trust and safety, but just to keep yourself stable and interacting, and again, having a pleasant environment. One thing to bring up as well, is also the safe mode settings. Is I believe I normally have mine turned off, and I just remembered this. Somebody in the audience brought it up. I believe you hold down your triggers or press if you open up your small menu and press the little triangle with an exclamation point, it will completely shut everything down around you until you turn it back off. That'll be great if you are like genuinely triggered or disturbed by somebody. You just turn that off, or maybe somebody's lagging you out, whatever the reason. You can just press that button, turns everything off around you, including yourself, I believe. So it's a super helpful tool for that emergency situation. Great recommend. I totally forgot about that one.
We also called out specifically avatars and avatar culling. This is part of this is just keeping your performance up, because a lot of the time bad interactions start with bad avatars, or just avatars with, like Aether was saying, things that are just going to not be visually pleasant. So you can base what you're loading in based on the optimization level of the avatar, like whether or not it's poorly rated, for example, the download size of it, what the uncompressed size of it is, and then you can prioritize like what's going to load in, or there's the hard limit of the number of avatars that are going to load in, and you can choose whether or not to override that by showing things. But foundationally, a lot of people just like set this to custom and they ignore it and they just show. And the next thing you know, you load into a world with a bunch of your friends and you got 40 avatars that try to load in, your GPU can't do it, and you're suffering. So just like foundationally set these to be something you actually want them to be, and then use overrides really, really sparingly, and you'll have a much better experience.
And it's something that trolls want. Trolls will want that kind of thing. They will want to go in hoping nobody has any safety settings on, and use a tool that crashes, because and that tool is built into their avatar that could have been stopped by safety settings.
Yep. Cool. So another foundational thing: do not feed the trolls. So what do we mean by this? Trolls are, at the core, at least the simplest kind anyways, just somebody who's trying to get a negative reaction. So they're trying to get you to be uncomfortable, they're trying to get you to get angry back, whatever, and somehow that's a dopamine drip for them. Just don't. Like, you got to practice it. But if you give them attention, you're giving them what they want. So the simplest thing you can do is just not to give attention. Great example, you're having a great conversation, group of people, somebody kind of comes up and tries to really force their way into that conversation. Just lower the volume, continue your conversation. Somebody's really, really trying to still be forceful, trying to jump in front of everybody. Block them, let people around you know that you blocked this person. They're gonna soon not have anybody in that particular area to bother, and they might move on. They might even just give up entirely and go find something frankly better to do. But the foundational thing here is just, if you don't give them what they're seeking, they don't have a reason to go out and seek it from you. Just do not feed them in any particular way. Don't get upset, don't get angry, express that towards them, fight, whatever. Don't do any of that stuff. Just take care of yourself, take care of your friends. You're going to hear me saying this almost on repeat the whole entire time, but just don't feed, and you're going to make the experience better for really you and everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell people to not give them anything. Just mute, block, whatever. Literally anything. So like, you plan to block and you say like, well, you're gone. They want that. You try to debate them. They want that. You get angry with them because emotions are high because they just happen to hit you at a wrong place, wrong time. They want that. Just block. That is the best thing that you can do, because trolls are pack animals. What they do is they come to your space, they see the reaction that they've gotten, and then they'll go to their friends and they will say, Trans Academy is the place to go because all these people get triggered over what we say. And then more will come. So if instead it's just a block, they'll go to their friend. They won't say anything to their friends, or they'll even go no, Trans Academy isn't worth it. All they do is just block me. That's no fun. Uh, this is don't feed the trolls is basically the oldest rule on the internet since we've had social interaction on the internet. You can find cave paintings that talk about don't feed the trolls. Before VR chat, I was in Second Life, and that was also rule for anybody who was running a group or moderating a group. Don't feed the trolls. And trolls have existed in the exact same kind of way, shape, and form since then, since World of Warcraft, since the first MMOs, since whatever. The videos that are content farming nowadays have existed back then as well in Second Life and all those previous ways as well. Those content videos, those negative interactions simply don't exist if you don't feed the trolls.
Just overall remember what you're here for is your positive interaction, learning from each other, interacting with each other, growing with each other. You're not here for whatever drama somebody else wants to bring. So don't be part of it. Don't help feed it. Just don't.
Yep. And on that note, block. Imagine a troll joins, shows their intention to have to interact negatively, and everyone blocks the troll. Everyone keeps having their positive interaction, while the troll is in an empty world. Do not undervalue the power you have to improve your experience. It is so powerful to just make it clear by not doing nothing, but giving them nothing. To just make it so that the place that you're in, and when that's not even just Trans Academy, that's any place, your small group of friends, your Black Cat, your whatever, different experience, Discord, MMO of your choice, just block them. And if you can then also spread that methodology, that ideology on, that then gets the platform that much more safe, that much more friendly, that much more positive, because the people who are out to do nothing good go, this isn't worth it. All I do is get blocked. That's no fun. They want, again, this is reiteration. All they want is the interaction. So if they don't get the interaction, then they will go to somewhere else.
You're stealing my next slide, but that's okay.
Oh no,
but that's okay. Okay, so who's taken an airline flight recently? We got anybody? Okay, cool. Not recently. Okay, but you ever remember them saying the whole thing about, hey, if the masks drop down, put on your mask before helping others. Okay, so we're gonna get to that right now. Sweet. Protect yourself first. You can't, like, if you're dealing with somebody with a horrible avatar or particles or whatever, or yelling and screaming, you can't reasonably help inform your friends about that problem, or even moderation or anybody else if you're dealing with it. So don't deal with it. You got to protect yourself first. And like the other thing that sometimes people do is they'll be like, I'm watching this, I don't like what I see, but I'm going to keep watching it. That way, if I see something real bad, no, don't, don't do that. Just use the moderation tools that exist. Somebody's annoying you, audibly mute them. Somebody is annoying you visually or with their behavior in some other way or continues making things worse, just block them. And then follow up by informing your friends and also the moderators about the issues so that they can protect themselves and the larger community. So basically, your friends can protect themselves, and then moderation can also help. So yeah, there's a reason why you'll see us sometimes drop down that little sticker there with the little tape on the corners. Because
shout outs to Pongo. Want to give them credit. They're the original ones who created it. Basically, again, going back to there's cave paintings on how to properly deal with trolls. Day one of stickers being released, Pongo made this and then passed it around to TNS. So shout outs to them. They're fantastic. They're a community member that you'll see around sometime. I wanted to make sure that they got the proper credit on that.
This is true. But yeah, there's a reason why we drop that around. Like if something seems maybe like we might be a little bit uncomfortable, we'll kind of let you make the decision. If we're like, I don't know if that interaction's wanted or not, but just in case it isn't, we're going to drop that there just in case you need a reminder. So yeah, it kind of calls it out right there. And yes, that's my little illustration of, yes, put on your own mask first before helping others. So do protect yourself first.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh, and then you also have a ton of ways to self-moderate, muting and blocking. If any of you are at all unfamiliar with this, it's pretty simple. For muting and blocking, you click on the person, whatever is applicable, click on those buttons that we're showing you right there. Same thing with stickers and prints. With prints, it's on the back. You just click the button that gives you the hide option. You click on the sticker that gives the hide option. And then for vote kicking, you can also see that little vote kicking button right there. Great tool as well. Vote kicking is super important if you are in a world that's unmoderated, or maybe you're in a world that is moderated and you just can't find the moderator. Everyone except the person who's being vote kicked gets notified about a vote kick. So it does totally ping the moderators and go, let's find what's going on. And then we can figure out from there. Also, I will note with blocking, something that's important with blocking is we will then also prompt if you'd like to make a report to VR chat. And that's pretty self-explanatory. If you haven't done it yet, it just goes through a list of what's the reason. Can you give us a minor explanation? And then if it feels like it's needed, it will then ask for a further explanation as well.
Don't forget about one other thing that we didn't point out here, because it's right there, is the volume control right underneath the profile and everything, the little short profile. You can adjust the volume of somebody. So sometimes somebody's on the wrong mic, sometimes somebody's like DJing heavy metal while you're trying to like wind down. It doesn't have to be like an argument or anything. Just turn them down. That's fine. You can
sometimes
drop them to like 5%.
Sometimes your co-host is on stage. You can barely hear him because the real life crow right outside your window is blaring for the last 30 minutes.
For reals? You have a crow? Neat.
Yeah, it's cool, but also I wish they would shut up. At least right now.
Fair enough. Okay.
Crows don't have volume controls.
Yeah, so for everybody who played Among Us and just like, okay, anyways. Reporting problems in world. We do need a big red button. That would be great, and it would just move everybody. No, that's not how it works.
No, that'd be terrible.
But no, if you see a problem, basically we're, as like the trust and safety team, within the TA instances specifically, and also our event instances, we're here to help. That's our job. That's what we put in our volunteer time to do. We want to keep making sure the place is safe, and so if we're here for you. Come and let us know. Report issues to us when it's possible to do that. We do host, obviously, group instances. Hello, you're in one right now if you're actually looking at us in person. And our trust and safety team can moderate. So we have a lot of tools. It's the tools that VR chat gives us because we're running it within the group. So you let us know what's a problem, and if it's something that needs our interaction, we'll get that. Also, other communities use this too, because like I said, it's foundationally just part of the VR chat group system. So a lot of other good communities run instances that are moderated. When you're looking for a instance to join of a place that you don't know, you can try specifically, and I'm sure most of you do this, but for the few that don't already know, you can look at who's hosting it, and you can check out that group and you can get a feel for what their group rules are or their group information is. And do they seem like a good fit? Do they seem like a good vibe based on who you are? What makes you comfortable? That sort of thing. And usually when you see a group hosted under, or an instance hosted under a group, those tend to be moderated more often than they are not. But whether or not they are has to do with some other complexities of the VR chat group system, which are a little bit beyond the scope of this. But suffice it to say, it is something that's used by more than just TA, and it's a really great system, and it helps us help you. So if you see something, say something, or just, whack that button, let us know what's going on.
Right. Just to add to that, a couple of things. Firstly, VR chats does give the ability for anybody to create any instance of any kind of world. So that does mean specifically with Trans Academy, somebody can just make a Trans Academy world as they would like, as they would see fit. We have made a tool that is to point out whether or not is a Trans Academy official instance. You probably saw the banner as you came in that said this is an official Trans Academy event instance. We do have one similar that will say this is not an official Trans Academy instance, and those are always basically going to be public. If you're really unsure, if it doesn't say trans as its group plus or group public, then it's not us. So if you want to make sure that you're going to a place that is properly moderated, and this world is not even basically, this world is open at all times. It really is. The amount of town times we've had of this world is literal minutes in the past 5 years that it's existed, or 3 years that it's existed. On that note, if there's one thing that I hear a lot from community members is, I didn't want to be a bother. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to make your jobs worse or anything along those lines. This is our job. This is what we do. We're volunteers. It's not a job, but we're volunteers. But that is our purpose being here. And I tell them 100% of the time, every single time, let us be the ones who decide if this is a problem. Just come to us if you believe it's one, and not even believe it's one for you that it's past your threshold of uncomfortability, but for just the community in general. I would rather 1,000 tickets be made by one person than never hear a ticket from that person when there is an issue. So please come to us. Please make tickets in the Discord, which we'll get into. Please chat with us. We're humans. I know, like, another thing that we get a lot is you guys are a little intimidating because you're the moderators. We're humans. We're talking to you as joyful individuals. We're here to celebrate Pride just as much as you are. We're totally down to chat as well. We want to be the faces of this community just as much as you guys are. So please, if there's an issue, if you just want to chat, we're here. We're absolutely here.
Mm-hmm. And if for whatever reason you're super anxious about it and you just don't want to approach, or you don't want to go from your group situation because it makes you at least somewhat comfortable, you can just, again, do the vote to kick, because, again, everybody that's in the instance that's able to see it is going to see it.
Yeah, so we'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that can let us know there's a problem that we need to look into. Oh, speaking of that,
yeah,
this is you.
Oh, is it me? We had this thing where we were going to do it back and forth. I've totally forgot when we talked for so long. Okay, so this is just some more nuance about how to report top of in VRC. Let's say none of those methods work for you. We also do have our email, which is moderation@transacademy.org. That will get you to somebody to talk via email. So if the ticket system doesn't work for you, if in-person doesn't work for you, if you need to write out some multi-page long diatribe about what happened or anything that's going on or whatever, or anything that feels like worth emailing moderation for, we have that email. Also, at the top of your small menu, there is the little word bubble that has a exclamation point in it. That gets you to VR chats, trust and safety team. We only give help in Trans Academy. That is something that's important to understand, that our jurisdiction is only within the moderated instances of Trans Academy. Why I bring up it's important to understand the difference between the public, a public instance, and a moderated instance, because we are only here for the moderated instances. By VR Chat's terms of service, we can only moderate on these instances. Anything outside of that, that's what that button's for. And that can be for anything: an individual, an avatar, a sticker, a group, a photo, an interaction with the user, literally anything. Like I said before, it gives you a prompt of what it is, the why, a small description, and then it'll redirect you to the website for a long description. It's pretty simple. Also, since I alluded to it a couple times, the Trans Academy Discord, which is here. You can also find both the email and the Trans Academy Discord at the entrance. So if you at any point forgets this this slide, that's where you can find these again, and you can file a ticket. Tickets are great because we get pinged. Everybody who's a moderator here is also going to be a moderator in the Discord. So you can ping us, and that ping can be anything that is, again, related to Trans Academy. But there's a bunch of trolls who show up. You can just create a ticket and say raid. And we'll be like, okay, we're on our way. Or, okay, there's someone there to help you, or whatever. You may be asked a further few more questions along the lines of, can you give us names and reasons and what's going on? But other than that, it can be as short as possible. If you are in the Discord, if you're an active member in the community, and something's going on in one of the channels, you can also either create a ticket or just do @Trust and Safety in the channel that things are going on in, and we will also respond. Lastly, also in general, when it comes to Discord, because again, we can only moderate the Trans Academy Discord. If there's anything going on, whether it's in private messages or in a different Discord, or heck, even in Trans Academy's Discord, you can do report user profile. There's also a way to do report Discord channels and stuff like that. All super helpful, again, for any reason. Similarly, basically all trust and safeties of any platform have the same idea. They would rather hear reports of what's going on and they can make the decisions on them than not hear really bad things. So take advantage of these tools for sure.
Yep. All right. Okay, so we've kind of talked, I think, entirely through all of the different things that are related to VRC and Discord specifically. But a lot of people don't necessarily think about sort of like the broader context of like privacy and online identity. So we're going to kind of talk about that in like two-ish components. So just to kind of call it out, many of us do use VR Chat, Discord, internet places, whatever, as a safe space. And to some extent, some people may treat these as separate from the real world. They're really not separate. You're engaging in things in a different context, but you're still yourself. You still have your personal information and your real identity, and you're making a choice. So if you're going to share information online, you're going to reveal little pieces of a puzzle, and those pieces of that puzzle could be consistent enough that somebody with bad intentions could try to use that to compromise accounts, do social engineering attacks against your friends to try to get access to things they ought not have, or figure out other information to do more things, or reveal personal information. There's a lot of like possible reasons behind this. Some of it's a bit tough to kind of think about, but the important thing is to understand that you have to take care with the information that you choose to share. This really is about your safety, your privacy, and the fundamental safest choice is not to reveal anything. So somebody might say, oh my gosh, you're going to some sort of show, a trade show. Wow, what city is it in? Or, oh my gosh, your birthday is so close to mine. What's your birth date? These are kinds of things that might seem innocuous, but if you're not careful with that kind of information, if enough of it gets given out, enough of it is accurate information, those kinds of information can be used to target you in ways. So the fundamental safest choice is to share nothing whatsoever. But fundamentally, all of us are, to a certain extent, sharing some information. I'm talking to you right now. You hear my voice. I'm standing. You know that I can do that. So we are sharing some information about ourselves as we engage, and how much and what we choose to share is kind of the question.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd like to not share anything about yourself is to not be human. On stage, I gave a little bit about my past, about who I was previously in Second Life and stuff like that. If you're somehow really good at social engineering, you probably find out more information about that. Because that's just part of the human nature. Talking about your past, talking maybe about your job when you hear somebody has a relevant interest, talking about your anime interests, talking about, what time of day it is for you, anything along these lines. They're okay. It's fine to talk about these things, but it's important to be aware of what you're talking about and who you're talking to about it. If it's, there's a difference between your closest, bestest friend on these kinds of things versus a visitor that you just met in the Great Pug. Because importantly, not only is that visitor that you just met in the Great Pug somebody that you've also only had maybe 15 minutes of an interaction with, but the person behind you, who you actually had no interaction with, is hearing all of this as well. And so, what are you giving out to somebody that you minorly trust to a group of people that you don't even know are existing right now? So be aware of all of that. And that's even true in real life. Be aware of what you're giving out in public spaces to different people, and what it is you're giving out. And on that, online identity best practices, many of us choose to present some information in order to have consistent online identity. Presenting consistent information is part of establishing trust in social interaction, similar to what I was saying, right? If you choose to present information in your profiles, make sure you take some important precautions. Search yourself. Just in general, search yourself. Photos, bio information, links, social media, etc. Check any links or information that can lead back to your private information. When we were building these slides and we got to this part knowing that we wanted to talk about it, we just took a moment, found our researched our current identities, researched our old identities, researched our old identities next to our new identities, researched our real life names next to these old identities, researched our emails next to these identities. Just be as diverse and deep as you can to see if you can find any kind of connections. I found some interesting ones, and I then tied them up and secured them. We found one really interesting one for Shaw.
Yeah, you should look up my name and then cosplay. That's interesting. Don't worry, it's very, very, very safe for work, but it might make you hungry. Just people are creative. So you're really just going to want to make any sort of corrections. If you have links to things that you're not comfortable with, change stuff. To an extent, what you put out there is something you can't really take back, though. So you do have to repeat the steps of searching. And if you find that there just is a connection that you're not comfortable with, you may have to consider and be prepared to change your online identity to get rid of that connection, to separate yourself. If there's some way in which you're uncomfortable with the way that their online identity links back to something else. Whatever that may be.
I'm going to give an example and then roll back around on that one. I think the most common thing a lot of people have on, for example, their Discord and their VR chat is their Spotify. Spotify is something everyone uses. It's also a good way to share music interests and stuff like that. I'm personally a podcast person. I don't listen to music all that much, but even I have a Spotify. But one thing that was shocking to me doing the research is If you link your Spotify to your Discord, and then you have your Spotify name, and you also at any point have put that Spotify name on your Facebook, I can find your Facebook. That's maybe not 100% of the time, but that is sort of an example of how easy it would be to figure that kind of thing out. So be aware of that. Like, be aware that if somebody's out to try to find you, if you aren't careful on those kinds of things, it's important.
One other one that we remembered while we were making this particular portion of it is most people use Discord. Discord has the activity sharing aspect. You need to be very careful with that, depending on exactly what it is that you're doing and how identifiable it is and your comfort level with that. Because you might be doing something that is quite niche, quite identifiable. So you need to have a look at the different settings of how things are being shared sort of implicitly, whether that's through like Steam, through Meta, or any other method where that information might get connected in a way that you're not immediately aware of. That's not something that you intentionally and directly set up, but it's more indirectly shared.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And again, this isn't to scare you, and this definitely isn't to say don't do these things, but it is important to be aware of these things. You can, for example, make your Facebook private. That's something that you can absolutely do. Just to friends only. I mean, you can also just remove your Facebook. I have, but like, there are steps that you can do to be aware. Just be aware about this. Figure out for yourself what your level of comfortability of somebody knowing your public identity to be, or your just identity to be. I don't believe in a difference between personal online identity and public identity. It's all about what I give out to friends eventually, in the same way that you talk about personal stuff to the friends that you gain more and more trust with. That's how I live my life. I know other friends who say, no, there's two separate entities in this world. There is Aether Song, and then there's that is the sliding scale of however you want to be, and it's totally up to you about where you lie on that sliding scale. The other thing about this isn't a one and done thing. The internet is constantly changing. You are constantly creating new profiles and stuff and what have you. So every once in a while, every couple of months, every 6 months, whatever is your comfortability level, double check these things. I actually like to do that. I like to see what I can Google about myself. It's kind of fun. You can learn some old family facts about yourself as well. But it's still important to double check these things as well for the sake of your safety, especially going back to the very first panel in the climate that we're in currently.
Mm-hmm. We gotta get moving.
yeah. And then, okay.
So stepping out of the whole identity and privacy aspect of things, it's just kind of going back to fundamentals. You probably see Discord scam links and hear about a friend getting an account taken over. You probably hear about somebody losing an email address, somebody losing a Facebook account, or whatever. And getting back into those things and having access to them and making them trustworthy again can be impossible or very difficult. And at the very least, it's extremely uncomfortable and time consuming. So start with some fundamentals. Use strong, unique passwords for everything where it's possible. If there's something stronger or better that's advised by that particular platform, consider it. Educate yourself about it. Pass keys are a really good example of that. Consider using a password manager. They are not necessarily something for everybody who doesn't necessarily understand how to apply them and how to keep them secure, but you can read up on documentation from a lot of major platforms that provide password managers. You can also maintain your own. There are a lot of different ways of doing it, but password managers give you the flexibility of generating passwords, encrypting and storing them, being able to recall them only in instances where the system recognizes that they should be recalled, evaluating weak or compromised passwords. So they have a lot of advantages, but there are implications to be aware of, so educate yourself on those choices. Use multi-factor or two-factor authentication anywhere it's possible to do so, and choose a multi-factor or second-factor authentication method that is more or most secure. Example would be text message as a method is generally not as highly advised as something like an authenticator, but this is going to depend on the platform and the method of delivery for some of those messages. So again, educate yourself. There's a lot of information and resources available about that. If you have recovery information related to any particular account or any access method, keep it up to date. Periodically check it and make sure if there's something you need to change, you change it. You do not want to be locked out of your house without the ability to get your spare key. You want to know where that is, you want to know that it works, and you want to periodically check that. And then the other fundamental things, if you think you need to download a program, it had better be something that you need to run and that you know is trustworthy. You're making your own choice about whether or not that is right for you and whether or not that thing is secure. So study, read up, try to do anything that is rational or reasonable to scan for viruses or whatever else it may be. But just make sure that you don't run anything you don't need to run. Don't click on links and download attachments that you do not know are trustworthy or really need to have in the first place. Do some research. Slow down if something seems suspicious. There's no reason to push forward on something like that. And then just kind of to recap.
Yeah. So as a review, protect yourself first and then help your friends and community members so that you are in a good headspace to further help and just to enjoy your space. Again, along the lines of don't feed trolls. Report problems to trust and safety members when in Trans Academy instances, Trans Academy discords, or using the moderation tools that are in the spaces that you're in that are outside of Trans Academy. Educate yourself about online identity and any connections to your private information, and make choices according to your risk tolerance. I think that last one is really important since we're all a little bit different on that, like I said. And then educate yourself about security best practices. Keep your accounts and systems secure. Yeah, and that basically is it. Thank you. If you have any questions, not only are me and Shaw super knowledgeable about this, but all of our trust and safety staff are knowledgeable on this. We are all trained in this. We all train each other on this. We all take these practices to heart for ourselves as much as training you guys. You guys are just as much as a part of trust and safety in order to keep yourself safe as we are. So for that, we thank you for that. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask when we're running off stage.
And like I said, if anybody thought, wow, I knew every single one of those things, and yet your friend next to you was like, wow, that was really interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Talk to them, spread the information, educate yourselves, help educate each other. We're all in this together to try to make sure that we're having the best experience possible and that we're all pushing forward together. All right. Thank you so very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of Pride. Enjoy the Trans Pride VR. Woo!
Amazing.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Cassie's output audio is a bit high.
Yeah.
When's Cassie gonna? I don't know.
Do we want her off stage? Do we?
Cassie, you might be